North Vancouver, this is your May market update. Now, since the election, we have noticed that activity has started to pick up. More offers, more viewings on showings. I'm getting more phone calls from buyers. However, the numbers that we're gonna hear today are actually a month before the election. So the numbers are gonna be a little bit more bleak than what we're probably gonna see next month. But let's get into it. Starting off with condos, we saw 457 active sales. Now that is a 50% increase from this time last year. We saw 96 sales and average days on market is sitting in and around 22 days. Now, when we look at the benchmark pricing for condos, we're sitting at $815,000. With the sales to active ratio that measures whether or not we're in a buyer's market or seller's market is at 20%, meaning we're in a seller's market for condos. Moving on to townhomes, we saw 138 active listings. Now that inventory is up 40% from this time last year. We saw 24 sales and average days on market for a townhome is sitting in and around 20 days. Now, if we look at benchmark pricing, the average benchmark price for a townhome is sitting at $1,325,000, and that's a 5% decrease from this time last year. And if we look at the sales to active ratio, we see that townhomes are selling at a 17% sales to active ratio, meaning that we're in a more balanced market when it comes to townhomes. Last but not least, we saw detached homes. We saw 364 active listings with 73 sales. Days on market was sitting in and around 17, with benchmark pricing just $1 off 2.2 million. Now the sales to active ratio was at 20%, meaning we're on the border of a balance and seller's market. Now, when we're looking at the market as a whole, I've been saying this for months, we are in a delayed spring. So I do think inventory will pick up and buyers will become more and more active. And in June, we will hear about what's gonna happen with that interest rate. Now, they could decrease it, they could keep it the same, but we'll find out. West Vancouver, it's May, so it's time for your May market update. Let's get into it. All right, West Van, let's start with detached homes. We saw 529 active listings with 26 sales. Average days on market sitting in and around 47, with benchmark pricing in and around $3,345,000. With the sales to active ratio sitting at 4.9%, meaning we are in a buyer's market. Moving on to condos, we saw 129 active listings with only 10 sales. Average days on market for condos is sitting in and around 28. With benchmark pricing at $1,216,000, we have seen condos pretty much from the beginning of the year slip from a balanced market all the way down to a buyer's market, with that sales to active ratio now at 7.8%. Last but not least, we do have townhomes in West Vancouver, and you hear me say this over and over again, there isn't that much data, but we did see 33 listings, 1 sale, average days on market is sitting in and around 29. Now, since the election has happened, I've myself even noticed that I've been a lot more busier. My listings are starting to get a lot more phone calls. A lot of my buyers are coming back into the market and are looking to buy. However, inventory in the whole sector of the market has been increasing. So if you're a buyer, that's a great thing. If you're a seller, again, you need to be sharp with price. Make sure your home looks absolutely amazing. And if you have any questions, or if you're thinking about listing, thinking about buying, my name's Anthony Trinetti. And remember, when you're ready, call Trinetti.